Hey there, Brightside Detective. I need your help today. I got a few tricky riddles I can't crack. Are you up for this? Then let's go. Detective Morris was following a dangerous criminal. At one point, the man entered a hockey arena. The detective followed him, but when he ran inside, the criminal was nowhere to be seen. He must have sneaked into this locker room. Morris entered it and saw several hockey players. They were ready for the match. The detective immediately detained two of them. Why? Look, these two players have the same numbers on their jerseys, but there can't be two identical numbers in one team. You have 3 empty cups and 10 sugar cubes. You need to distribute these sugar cubes between the cups so that each of them contains an odd number of cubes. Put 3 sugar cubes in the first cup and 3 cubes in the second one. After that, put the remaining 4 cubes and the second cup in cup number 3. Now, the first cup has 3 sugar cubes, and the second one has 3 sugar cubes too. As for the third cup, it has 7 sugar cubes, 4 of its own and 3 in the second cup. Robert and Jake got lost in a forest. Soon, it started raining heavily. They were trying to find a safe place to spend the night when they saw a sinister-looking mansion. They had little choice, so they went inside. But it was a haunted house. The door shut down behind them, and try as they might, they couldn't open it again. While examining the house, the friends found 3 doors and a note. It said, "Choose one door if you want to survive." Behind the first door, there was an acid waterfall. Behind the second one, there was a pool swarming with hungry piranhas. And behind the third door, there was a raging fire. Which door should Robert and Jake walk through to survive? Do you remember it was raining heavily outside? The fire must be already extinguished. They should choose the third door. A young but very popular blogger, Eric, wrote his first book. It was a huge success. The guy was preparing for his first book signing. He was very nervous, so he took a break to rest a bit in a quiet corner. But even at 6 p.m., when the meeting was supposed to start, Eric was nowhere to be seen. 10 minutes later, a security guard found him lying on the floor in the bathroom. Someone had hit the guy on the head. The police had 3 suspects. Angela, Eric's agent, said she had been solving some urgent organizational issues. Frank, one of the fans seen not far from the bathroom where Eric had been found, said he had been a great lover of Eric's books for years. He wouldn't do anything to harm the writer. And Patrick, the security guard, said he'd been doing his job, keeping the fans away from the entrance. So who hit Eric? It was Frank. It was Eric's first book. Frank couldn't possibly be reading his books for years. Now look at these guys carefully. Who is a fake firefighter? It's the guy on the right. He's not wearing a helmet and doesn't have a special bag. Plus, his pants aren't part of the uniform. Look at this explorer. He seems to be in a tough situation. There are 4 tunnels in front of him. The first one seems to be freezing cold, with some perilous-looking icicles hanging over the entrance. The second tunnel looks, well, I think the best word is creepy. A giant shark is swimming in the third tunnel, and the fourth pass is covered with molten lava. Where should our explorer go? He should opt for the first tunnel. Have you noticed a rather well-trodden track there? So, this way can't be too dangerous. A young woman went to another town to look for a better job. She promised her mother she would come and visit her often. But 4 months had passed, and she still didn't come home. Her mother missed her very much. One day, in the middle of winter, the woman shouted, "April is here!" How is it possible? April was her daughter's name. She finally came to visit her family. Now, let's check how attentive you are. Can you figure out which house belongs to a vampire? It's this one. Even though in the second house all the curtains are drawn, in the first house there are no windows altogether. Apparently, the vampires living there want to avoid any risk of getting exposed to sunlight. Look at these people. Can you figure out who her boyfriend is? It's this guy. Look, they've got tickets to the same event. How about these people? Which guy is her boyfriend? It's the one on the left. They have couple t-shirts. Ooh. How about this picture? Who is her boyfriend? It's the guy on the right. Look, the girl is wearing his jacket. It matches his pants. A zombie apocalypse started all of a sudden. Jeff was the only survivor in his town. He's hiding in a building surrounded by hungry zombies. They begin breaking down the door. Luckily, a rescue helicopter is waiting for Jeff on the roof. But the guy needs to get there as fast as he can. What is the minimum number of ladders he needs to climb? That's the fastest way to get to the roof. And the number of ladders Jeff needs to climb to reach safety is 7. It's usually under you. Take away its first letter, and it's on top of you. Take away its first 2 letters, and you won't see it. What is it? It's a chair, which can transform into hair and air. Michael was walking along the street when a sealed envelope landed near his feet. The guy picked it up. Inside, there was a key and a note. It said, "Help, 323." Michael entered the building. Soon he found door number 323 and used the key to open it. He saw a man near the open window. He was gagged and tied to a chair. Once free, the man exclaimed, "2 men broke into my office, tied me up, and took all the money from my safe. Luckily, my hands were free. I managed to write this note and throw it together with the key out the window." Michael didn't believe the man and called the police. Why? The envelope was sealed. How could the man do it if he was gagged? Dennis, Maria, and Julie were at a party. They decided to play a game. There were 5 hats, 2 red ones and 3 yellow ones. The friends closed their eyes, took random hats, and put them on their heads. Then they opened their eyes and looked at one another. Each of them had to guess what color the hat on their head was. Dennis and Julie said they didn't know, but Maria exclaimed that she knew the color of her hat. What color was it? It was yellow. Maria saw that Dennis and Julie were wearing red hats, and she knew there were only 2 of those. A rich businessman called the police. When he arrived at his office in the morning, he remembered he'd left some important documents in his safe at home. He sent his secretary, John, to bring them, but the guy called a half hour later saying the safe was open. The documents were inside, but the money had disappeared. The police tried to find some fingerprints but didn't succeed. The detective had 3 suspects: the secretary, the businessman's nephew, Mark, and the housekeeper. The secretary said he had informed his boss immediately. Mark said, "After I opened the door for John, I went to my room. I only found out about the accident when John told me." The housekeeper told the police she had been very busy and hadn't been to the office since the previous evening. Who took the money? It was the secretary. There were no fingerprints in the room, but John was there and touched different things. If he hadn't been guilty, he wouldn't have wiped his fingerprints off. So there. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.